Hello and welcome to session 3 of Free from the Yoke Rokugan. This is a hack of Free from the Yoke, which is a lighter version of Legacy Life Among the Ruins. There's some structural changes to it, and we've adapted it over to handle the clans. Now, often at the start of a session, we would have the Emperor's Court. We kind of did that last time, and we did the rollout for that, so we're not going to start with an Emperor's Court at the start of this session. We're going to roll forward based on what we got set up there. Now, just to tell you, if you're watching this and you're like, what's going on? Hey, this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. The Gauntlet is an online gaming club / community. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. If you're looking for a place to play online, you want to try indie games, and you want to make sure you have a set of people that are using safety tools so you're pretty secure about who you're playing with, come and check us out. Speaking of which, our lines and our veils for play in this game, we have a hard line on sexual assault and suicide, and we have veils on childhood abandonment, eye injuries, harm to animals, sexual content, and spiders and torture. So those are things that are out there. Lines, hard block on, veils we fade to black on when we get to those things. Now, one of the issues that we had last time, we're going to go now into the weeds, is the question of, in this game, how you actually get influence. And that they were, the mechanisms that we went through looked like they were pretty modest for doing that. So Patrick and Tyler made a couple of suggestions, and we're going to add these in. I've marked them on the sheet. Basically what it is there's the read the wind move, which is our like go and figure something out move in this game. It's a clan move. We've added in a new option under the list of options, which is how can I gain influence over clan X? So it follows the model of your classic, how do I gain influence, or how do I get somebody to do this move from PBTA? And then subterfuge, which is our sort of sneaky move. We made some adjustments to that already, but the big thing that we did for today is that there's a result that is cause a scandal within a clan's organization. And your choices are, if you do that, you can reveal the secret that's involved with that to cause that scandal, or you can opt to hide that scandal to gain influence. And recall that in this game, influence is yes or no. It's binary. You either have it or you don't. There are some results for if you need to give influence and you don't have it, that kind of thing. But those are the basics. And I think those are the only big changes that we have so far. So with that in mind, we are going to start at the sort of the higher clan level today, looking at where everybody is at. We're going to do a kind of quick go around so we can see what people's needs and surpluses are, and then we'll kind of come to some clan moves just to kind of frame ourselves in here. So let's start with our unicorn clan here. Patrick, what are your clan's needs and surpluses right this second?
So my surpluses are culture, which is centered in the Shinjo holdings, my family's holdings, livestock, which is centered in the Great Stables, and transport, which is currently dispersed, as we're all traveling all over the place. And we need fortifications and scouts. So fortifications, I think of it as just like, we just sort of made this area our home, whereas a lot of the other clans have been sitting in their clan territories for 1,000+ years. So it's not that we have no fortifications, it's just that against some of these like 1,000-year-old castles, they're sort of laughable.
Okay.
And scouts, I don't know, I guess we find it hard to be accepted and just wander the land without being interrupted, interrogated, assaulted, that sort of thing.
That makes sense that you haven't built up that kind of exploratory force or force that can kind of make those deals at the margins. Okay, that makes sense to me. And when we left off last time, what was the big sort of task that you were set to or thing that you were working on?
Well, I wasn't set to any task because everyone at the court just ignored me.
Right.
I have delved into some extracurricular activities like bug collecting, perhaps some scorpions out there, and on a personal level for Hikaru. There was the meeting with the Kirin and the sort of quest from Mikami there. Again, having to do with scorpions.
Yes. So the hatred of the scorpions and the requirements of the Kirin are sort of the two big personal agenda things that are sitting out there for you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds reasonable to me. Scott, let's come to our Phoenix. Tell us about your surpluses and needs. I just looked at your list of needs.
It's a little bit imbalanced. We're in surplus of blessings and recruits and coin. Those recruits are currently on the march, hopefully heading through, I believe, Lion territory.
Yes, past Shiramatsu, yes.
And back to, but we are in need of much. We are in need of attunement, rice, peace, respect, lumber, and morale. We have stretched ourselves quite thin.
So your clan is really like there's a lot of emotional turmoil. We've got the fact peace, such that you've got people who are pushing against the leadership in that, are agitating. We've got this question of just general morale. People just generally unhappy. Those are sort of the two internal things. And then we talked about how the Phoenix are perceived. But why do you think the lack of respect? What do you think that's really coming from?
I think because we are seen as kind of sitting outside of any authority chain. We might pay deference to the imperial court and to the rituals of Rokugan, but I think the perception of us is that we are, we don't really care about all that stuff. We're just going through some motions.
Interesting. And the lack of attunement. What has caused this crisis of sort of lack of magical strength for what ought to be a key point for your clan?
I believe it's when we opened up that gorge during the oh goodness, brain fart. It took much of our power from us, and so while we still have an awareness of rituals and things, we are very cautious as to how we use that now, as we're building up that strength again.
Interesting. I like that very much. Let's come to the Crane clan then. The Crab clan. Sorry, as I swoop around. Sherry, tell us about your surpluses and needs.
We are the Crab. Our surpluses are engineers. They are dispersed, of course, all along the wall. The Jade is another surplus that we have. The primary storage of that is with the Hida holdings, at the Hida holdings. Though of course it also is dispersed as needed. Morale dispersed and order dispersed. This is simply, we're all along the wall. It's a lot of our people are along a border. So I think there's no other word for where they are other than dispersed.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. And then the counterpoint, what are your needs right now?
Fortifications, because after all of the ugliness, we have finally fought back to our old borders, cleaned things up. But what can't be left. It has to be torn down and rebuilt because it has been infested. So it is a time of major working as much as we can.
And recruits make sense. You lost a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Trade makes sense. You are kind of isolated, and your trade clan has suffered. What is your goal right now for the Crab Clan in terms of moves and actions and agenda here?
Well, she's the leader, and essentially the thing that she is working on is having some sense of Satsumi and his duties, Doji Satsumi, that he will be trying to deal with some pirates off the shores of the Mantis clan, and probably former or possible at one time people who could have been part of the Mantis clan. There's some sort of tug of war going on there. The thing is that wherever they're holed up at, it's closer to Crablands than anything else, and they have a set of skills, shipbuilding, and they know the coast. They would be valuable recruits for the crab. The crab don't mind a little bit of, bad temper. That's not a problem for them.
Well, it seems to me like your two moves, when we get to that, are probably going to intersect. So we'll talk about how we want to do the timing on those things, and when we come to that. But let's come to Doji Satsumi. Tell us about how the Crane Clan is doing your surpluses and needs.
All right, surpluses first. I have Koku, which is located in Doji, and I have culture, which is dispersed because everyone should have some of green culture. Yeah. My needs are rice, trade, and luxury. Oh, how I hate that is missing. I do want to, and just to give a thing, when we made character, we had the battlefield of the imposter Daimyo.
Yeah.
And I said that's kind of cursed the lakes and everything, and that's part of our problem at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I've come with this idea that the false Daimyo fell into the river and was lost, and it is believed that we have to find his body, and more importantly, the armor, if we are going to cleanse that curse that is on it. And I think that he squandered away our luxury, is why we're missing it now.
So you have to find the ancestral armor of the Crane Clan from the bottom of the lake. And I would assume also part of the rice thing is that you have the Crane have traditionally had contracts to supply rice to lots of other clans, and the Emperor is probably enforcing those edicts even as we speak here.
And we're not as productive as we used to be with the curse upon us.
Absolutely. I want to say one thing before we move on to the clan roles. And we talked about the pirate stuff. You're going to be looking at that. I put some NPC pictures for NPCs that were named last time. Those are in the thing. I did add some things I had forgotten to add before, which are essentially the imperial style, ceremonies, and laws. There was a pick from one from each. I didn't have a chance to do that. So for style, new designs and banners commissioned to echo Toturi's heritage as a lion. So a lot of the imperial sigils and things like that have that lion aspect to them. For ceremonies, which I spelled cremonies, I'm saying that before Patrick can catch it. The Jade Lantern Festival will remind people across the Empire to remember what protects them from the Shadowlands. And then laws, the law that's there, and this is always important because, of course, there's some punishment for breaking the laws, and this is any request from Imperial Inquisitors must be obeyed without question, even in the houses of daimyos. So that is out there. So, Patrick.
So essentially the whole thing for diplomats is to keep the Inquisitors out of the daimyo's households is pretty much
That's
it.
probably a good idea.
Yeah, okay.
Can I also mention something real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's something I kind of like to highlight on my clan book that folks, it might have just kind of passed by, but it needs other people to kind of trigger. It's my Voice of the Wind feature, where my couriers discreetly share information from far and wide. So if anyone visits my embassies, they can ask a question about current events elsewhere in the land, so anywhere. and the GM will tell me, and then I get to tell the other people what I want to wish, whatever I decide to share. But it's out there as a resource for anybody who's wanting to gather information. You can just come to the crane.
It means attempting to gain info without having to make a roll, which is always nice. Always good. So Patrick, let's start back with you and your clan. What are the unicorn doing?
So I was looking at, I have this doctrine move of communal solidarity.
Mm-hmm.
When you comfort a group suffering misfortune, erase one of their needs, and blah, blah, do stuff with them, have fun. But I have to imagine that there are settlements or like minor clans that are living on the borders of the Scorpion territory, which is sort of like they're the next people sort of directly south from me, even though we're separated by some distance.
Yeah, because if you definitely reach down and then you cross that Matsu's Folly and you get into the lands of the Scorpion down there. Yeah.
And so, my house personally believes that there must be subjugated people there, people that have been tormented by the Scorpion that are tired of living on their lands. So that'd be something like a read the wind.
It does feel like a read the wind. You want to find a minor or a vassal clan that is perhaps available to prize off from there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would give me some leverage and some knowledge closer to the Scorpion's home territory.
Absolutely. So let's go to that clan move, that read the wind. Go ahead and roll reach.
Is a 1, yes. Didn't make any rolls. Okay. Ta-da.
So that is.
There we go.
And what is your reach?
+1, so that's a 9.
That is a 9. So when we look at that, we'll reach ask one of these questions. So what is your question?
I guess it's sort of a what's happening in the Scorpion's border regions, focusing on someone who's unhappy.
So what it would be is a vassal family, one of like the subfamilies, which gets a little dangerous, but it's still possible because the Scorpion clan have historically hated minor clans. Like if they have the chance, they will eliminate them because they feel that they are dangerous nails that need to be hammered down. But let me look at. I'm going to grab a name because there are names. Because of course this game has been around for years and years. There's names for Scorpion vassal families. Let's see here. Let's see. Vassal families. So let's say that there is a family, a vassal family called Naganori, that are in the mountain edges there. One of the things is that there was a Scorpion clan coup, and the Scorpions got exiled, and they only came back during this war against Fulang and retook their lands and things like that. And the Naganori clan, this vassal family, they were one of these sort of fringe ones who were kind of left behind because they had some tasks and things like that, and they were given, an imperial exception because they could show that they weren't involved, and of course they were, but they were allowed to stay here, and they they are kind of clearly bristling at the fact that now that the Scorpion clan has come back as a full thing, that they are still regarded as a vassal, despite them having done, work and survived lots of hostility and held themselves together here. And it's because the Scorpion value loyalty above all other things. That's a real problem because they're clearly playing a dangerous game there. Does that sound like fair info?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and they're close up by on the mountains. Their tasks are probably about watching and maintaining the mountain passes there in the north.
And where exactly on the edge of the mountains do you mean there?
Let's see here. Let's give a good place. How about we put them actually somewhere between where that Spine of the World Mountain text ends and Moto's Folly, like in that base just sort of south of that.
Gotcha.
Like they're on the farthest fringes of what the Scorpion can control.
Cool.
All right. Let's come then around to Shiba Kazuko. Kazuko, yeah. And what is it that your family is doing right now?
Right now we're trying to get, the overall is to discover why the kami can't be appeased for the great project, the bridge project. But we're moving our recruits down there as a bit of, well, also to participate in the project, but also to get some of our agents down there as well. Unfortunately, we have to cross through lion territory and ask permission to do so, or we will arrive far too late to be useful.
So how do you want to play this? You've got a couple of options here. You certainly have subterfuge if you wanted to hide their passage. You have a read the wind if you wanted to figure out, how to get info on how to do that. I don't know if you have a ritual that would be a way of doing things. What do you think?
I think I'd have to read the wind because then that would guide me on. I have my rituals chosen, but it would guide me on if any of them would be helpful.
Absolutely.
So I think I'm gonna, we potentially have some embedded agents there and just see what the mood is among the lion.
Let's have you roll with reach.
And reach is 1. And so
you should re-roll that because you rolled with a minus.
Oh, that's a 1d6. I need to roll a 2d6.
Yes, so just
re-roll. It needs to be completely. A +1. Yes. Well, that's a bit better.
That is a
9 is better than 3.
Yes. So what's your question?
Going to the moves. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. I think I'll just go basic. How can we gain access to their roads through their lands to get, to that area the fastest? Seems to be their own taxed roads and whatnot with the tolls and everything that they've set up.
I think that we can kind of imagine a meeting of diplomats here of talking, and the lion being, very generous about this, but saying, if we can get your agreement to put forward that the Lion Bridge should be the first of the bridges that's built. If we can have your voice to support that of the 7 great bridges, certainly given that you would be working towards that project. Since that if you were to make that promise and to throw your support that way, that the Lion would graciously and quickly allow you to pass through their lands.
Lion, you've always been wonderful neighbors to have, and this is a request we will humbly honor.
Then they will send a force of Akodo warriors to accompany your scholars to the thing. They will offer to escort you over the mountains if you wish.
Yes, please.
Okay, and they will with great public displays showing the good will and kindness between the Lion and the Phoenix as they move your people down there. And we'll work out what the results of that are in just another go round.
Right.
So, Doji Satsumi, Harumo Reiko, you both have goals. Do we think they're at odds, or are they running parallel, or how do we want to consider this?
Sherry, would you like to hear kind of my phase 1 of what I'm doing, and then you can kind of...
Sure.
Okay. My first thing to do is I'm going to my harbor master to give him a reason to be better to the Mantis to try and diffuse the problem that I'm having there, which is just right now he's giving no respect to Mantis. So I kind of got to do that. That's part of what I'm going to do. Then I got some good information from Sheba about where ships from these pirates put in to get repairs. And it is my intent, since I know that it's the brother of the Mantis Daimo who's out there as a pirate, I have to believe that he has family, daughters, sons, something in that pirating fleet. I want to capture one of them when they come into to port. And that's my first move. And then I'm going to go to Mantis to try and get them to handle the pirate problem. And I have plots and plans for how to convince their Daimo of that. So that's my plan of action at the moment. What do you want to do in with that?
So they have a place where they can put in for ships and stuff. But it's still kind of all at the grace of the Mantis for all practical purposes in a lot of ways, isn't it?
Yeah, they're ignoring them, and that's why they can operate.
So I think that essentially, because we have that awesome bay down there on the map that near the Yusuki, who also do trade, and it's just on the other side of where these pirates are of that peninsula that we set at. So it almost makes sense for the Yusuki to sort of pick up their smuggling traffic just a bit and, how should we say, make that more of a home that they can come into, but also, and I think that this is probably one of the things, is actually how should we say, map the entry, because of course entries into bays like that are always hazardous. You have to know the channels and sort of have those marked out with buoys so that a bigger ship could come through. If that makes any sense. So at this point, we've kind of created that thing where if we can create familiarity when they get driven back, they have a place to fall back to. It will be ours, if that makes any sense. So it is that sort of thing of, does that make sense, Lowell?
Yeah, that feels like subterfuge.
Yeah.
Like you're working to get those things set. So let's start with Tyler's work with the portmaster.
Okay.
And then let's come with you kind of setting up a place that some of these pirates can flee to should things need to do. Does that seem fair?
With ships.
With ships. So you go see Katagama Jomei. And I've got a picture of him. And he's very...
That's my hairline.
Yeah. It's so good to see you. He's one of those doji that hasn't got the grace and the beauty of the Crane clan, but he's a practical man from one of the vassal families. And when you come to speak with him, he's it's good. He's and you want him to do what? What is the goal here?
What I want him to do is to, my intent is that Mantis will be able to trade into Doji, and we will integrate and give all due respect and fair trade to them, and that we are going to stop any sort of slights. My friend, it has become apparent the Emperor favors Mantis now. We cannot be seen to be going against the Emperor's views.
So I've got two ways that we can handle this, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
I can see this as, and in fact, I think actually just subterfuge makes sense. I think you are trying to create the impression on the Mantis that trade has been opened up, right?
Well, I mean, I want it to be a reality. What I was hoping to do is, because I'm trying to make peace between these two, is I have a bribe for this harbor master to make him do this in point of fact and be able to give it as an example to Mantis that Doji and the Crane lands are open and respecting them. Because I was going to say, once we have this open, we should have a great festival to show it. A festival of boats. And you, sir, would be master of ceremonies setting all of this up.
So you want, this sounds like, are you doing gift of office? What is it? What are you trying to do?
I'm using my calling a festival to be a chance for him to shine in the moment. I don't want to give him anything. He's in my house. He better do what I say regardless.
Right.
But
yeah. So you are. So here the question is. I mean, like setting him to do that. That's not even a role. I mean, he's part of the vassal family. He'll obey. The question is then, what is the dynamic to how we're supposed to how we read this to the reaction of the Mantis? What move do you think that would be appropriate to get that dynamic?
I'm not even sure. It's up to you, Lo, but on this. But this is really just groundwork for when I go to do common ground when I actually meet with Daimo of Mantis. This is groundwork rather than an action, I think.
Okay, that seems fair to me.
Because I think the big tension point is me managing to catch the relation. That's the real hard part. This is just setup.
So, does this feel like you? I mean, because we're allowed to kind of modify this. Does this feel like you gaining influence over the Mantis?
I was gonna play with it on my roll up there. I don't think it is yet.
Okay. So tell me what this whole play looks like. Like what's the montage of what we see over the next few weeks? Let's say.
Okay. If I'm capable of grabbing that relation at the harbor, the younger son of the pirate lord.
Oh, now so that's a different thing. You want to claim by force there. So
that's what I figure is the big problem.
Okay, I think that's going to require a read the wind to track something as important as that down first. Does that seem fair?
That seems perfectly fair.
Okay. Then let's have you go ahead and roll with reach.
Alrighty. Come on, die roller. I got a 7.
Got a 7. So you will find that the son of Yoritomo Raidan is not of age to like captain. He's past his genpuku and he serves on a ship, but he's not, not quite old enough to take command. Is on one of these ships that is sort of under the pirate flag. That makes him Yoritomo Kado's nephew. And a figure there that is kind of important, and you want to try to seize him.
I do.
Okay. Shall we do that roll?
We can, and so that's going to be a claim by force.
Yeah.
All right. So there's not much of anything I could do to work on that, is there?
No. Unless you have someone assist you, because there is a way you can call in a debt, and then over someone you have influence over to assist you on this.
Yes, unfortunately, I have very few, and I don't see the unicorns being a particularly big help with me there.
Fair enough.
All right, so claiming by force, grasp, which is 0. So, all right. Oh, please, please, please. 5.
It is brilliantly calculated. The tracking down of the ship, of this nephew's boat, and you are able to track and close on it. And let me mark a turmoil here. It's that one stray arrow that is fired and catches the nephew in the throat, and his body falls overboard, killed by a Crane Clan archer. And they seize the boat. So there is the opportunity to hide this, but that's going to require a separate roll that we'll come back to.
We didn't happen to recover the body, did we?
We'll see with the subterfuge roll, won't we?
Oh, yes, I suppose so.
Okay. Let's come back around to our unicorn clan. Shall we do another house move here?
Sure.
Yeah. And basically, I'm going to do the house moves until people say, hey, I think we need to zoom in on this, because that's how the thing works. So what do we need to do here for you?
Let's see. Do
you want to contribute to the project?
What? Oh, no. I mean, no one even asked me to be a part of that. I just picked up someone else's memo that they threw away at court.
Mm-hmm.
What about when we go to build the unicorn bridge?
You mean the
We'll
7th
figure
bridge?
something out in a moment.
The 7th bridge? That's the luckiest. Wait, are there 8 clans now? There are 8 clans, aren't there?
Well, they're technically 8 if you count the mantis.
Oh, so the bridge for them
Wow.
would actually be a port.
Probably.
Yeah.
So, I want to find out how to get in with this with the Naganori. It might be another read the wind situation.
That seems fair.
of seeing how I can gain influence over them. Like, what in particular are they hurting for right now? How can
Absolutely, yeah.
Dignity.
I help them? 9 plus 1 this time is 10.
It's at 10. So let me look at this real quick. Ba, 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 ba. Clearing those here. So what is your question then?
It is, what can we do to gain influence over the Naganori? Especially focusing on like what needs they have that we might could fill.
Yeah. One of the things is they need something to distinguish themselves and something that the Scorpion can't have access to that you could do this with. If you could, on the other side of the mountains, I mean, they mountain pass people, if you could perhaps set up a horse trading place there, a site where there could be some trade of maybe not the most exquisite of unicorn horses, but some pieces of that would go a long way to making the Naganori beholden to you, both sort of in terms of trade and respect, but also if you establish that on your side of the mountains, it geographically begins to pull them your way.
So, how about this?
Sure.
We have the Great Stables, which is the sort of breeding and also selling grounds that we have that's open to a lot of the east here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also where I have a livestock surplus consolidated. Could I right tool for the job, spend that livestock surplus, and how about the Great Stables is doing well enough that it's now going to open a sort of like satellite location down there at the mountains to open up trade to the south.
Absolutely. Put a marker for that on the map. You spend that, and there's this family that has some more independence than some of the Scorpion that are drawn more closely into your sphere.
Nice.
Let's come to the Phoenix. So you
Can I stop and ask if I was supposed to make a subterfuge roll or?
For the, let's go back.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I just was like.
I'm sorry, rolled forward on that. Let's come to that.
Okay.
And then we'll hop to the Phoenix. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I just was uncertain.
So let's have you roll subterfuge, which is done. That is rolled with sleight.
Okay. So I'm rolling, adding +1. So it gives me an 8.
And what is it you want to have happen here?
Essentially, this is to this extent, we are masking the true nature of what we are doing. We are creating a sort of first set of cooperations between the Yusuki and the pirates, with the Yusuki, of course, denying having any sense of there being pirates, and sort of making it clear that this bay would be a refuge because it's got that channel that they could easily take the markings away from.
So how about we give you influence over the Mantis pirates?
Okay.
Does that seem like a fair way to read that, given that subterfuge move?
Yes, I think, well, I have no idea. So that seems fine. Yeah.
Now there is one thing, because you rolled a 7 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
You have to choose. You have to move slowly and act with subtlety, in which case
it would be subtle, slow.
Or you could just, go raise turmoil by 1 and you'd get it done.
Are you kidding?
There are 10 points of turmoil. You've only spent 1 so far.
No turmoil.
Okay. So that change won't occur until the next time the Emperor's Court turns.
Okay.
Okay. Shiba Kazuo, you were told to bring these people down here. And what was your purpose in traversing them across Lion Lands and now with the grateful support of the Lion?
Ostensibly to deliver these recruits, but of course I'm here to see why the kami are resisting appeasement.
So that feels like read the wind.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And you've delivered the recruits.
Take those off.
Yeah. And we'll resolve the other part of this in a second, potentially. Let's have you roll that.
All right, so it's the same roll. I got a 9 again.
Got a 9. What is your question?
So what's happening in this region that's angering the kami? Is there anything in particular, or is it the river itself?
It is. It is that. I think what would be the best way to do this for this. So we're going from there to there. Come down to there. I think that, and again, we're at that sort of apex of where the mountains and the rivers meet there by Moda's Folly, where you had to go down to kind of start the thing. I think that you will realize that the spirits are upset because the ancestral armor of the crane has essentially found its way to that place and is in the deep waters there. And that it is tied to all the betrayals and things that went on, and it is bound to the deep waters there.
Oh my, okay. Interesting.
Do you have, any way to get that out of there? You could justify a good method. We could use, a ritual to do that. You don't even have to know the ritual. We could do one of these impromptu rituals to accomplish that.
So how do the impromptu rituals work?
Basically, with the impromptu rituals, the way that works is, I'll go to character moves here, and you're not a Shugenja, right?
No, I'm a merchant.
In which case,
So I'll be rolling with disad.
Let's see. So if you're not a Shugenja, you roll with disadvantage, yes. So you would declare what you wanted the ritual to do, and you would roll based on lore, and you would see what the effect is, but you'd be rolling with disadvantage. Now, mind you, you do know a unicorn Shugenja who is in that same region who also might be able to assist you.
I think I'm going to seek them out.
Okay. Then rather than a move, can we kind of just narrate a scene of the two of you getting together? Does that seem fair, Patrick?
Yeah, totally.
And since you're being called in, where would Shiba Kazuko find you? Mind you, he has traveled down to the south near where the Moto tragedy occurred, because he's brought a number of Shugenja and spiritual recruits here. Kind of a little odd.
Well, then maybe you've heard about the setup of this new like mountain trading post, the Uchitoge Zaibatsu, and that that like I'm leading a herd of horses there from my family's holdings to help set up the market there.
And you'll be surprised to see your merchant friend Kazuko. You haven't seen in several weeks since the Imperial Court, and will come in and you can greet each other. Do you greet each other warmly? What's your attitude when you meet your friends, if you call them a friend?
I don't think it would be necessarily overly warm for most people, but for Kazuko would be like, Kazuko-chan, how are you? It's been too long.
Haru! Oh, I couldn't be happier to see you. Were you down here adventuring? What brings you here?
Adventuring? No, I'm just...
You were taming a mountain, weren't you? You tamed a mountain giant.
Well, maybe taming a mountain economy. I'm just moving horses.
You make it sound so simple, the great things that you've done for the Empire, for your clan, for everyone. It's a joy to see a friendly face.
Have you come to explore the new market here?
I have. En route to the great project, I have been leading some of our recruits down to assist with the project.
To the bridges. I have to say, I've not gone to see the land played out for them yet.
It's lovely. It's a well-chosen spot. I don't think a better spot in the Empire could have been chosen outside of the lands and the Phoenix clan's holdings, of course.
Of course.
But you keep in mind, I hear that this river is a fierce one and that it holds many a secret. Do you know anything about these rivers and the spirits within?
Oh, I've certainly had a conversation or two with river spirits. I think definitely even this river, although never so far south. I have to say the area south of Moto's of the mountains is it's not somewhere I've been personally.
You're too humble. I've heard the stories of you in the Shadowlands and in the South and all over. Such a humble man.
Being many places doesn't necessarily mean you've been all the places in between. And, you know, there's nothing for visiting a new land like a guide who knows the territory well, someone to say, show me around.
Well, I would love to show you the lands where the project has been chosen. The only reason I asked about your experience with the river here was I felt a force, one part of the river. It just felt angrier than the rest. I don't know what the right. I'm a simple merchant.
A river shouldn't feel
I'm a simple merchant. I speak out of my depths here.
Rivers may toss and frolic, but they shouldn't be angry. How about this? A trade of knowledge. You show me what you know of the lands down there, and I'll see if I can have a conversation with your angry river.
This is a wonderful, I mean, I'd be humbled that you would help me in this way. And of course I would give you the information that you so capably would deserve. Of course. It's an
thank you.
honor
And
that you would
I-
even choose to travel with us. You are my
Well,
hero.
Let me be clear. I can't promise anything. And foreign rivers and strangers, or you never quite know how things are going to go.
When I go home and tell the poets that I walked in your shadow, they will not even believe it.
It's where sometimes I don't know how to tell if you're making fun of me or not.
I am as earnest as a young man can be, a young woman. God, made her a woman. Shoot.
Well, I find myself hungry from the road, and perhaps some food in your mouth will stop you from embarrassing me publicly. Should we go find a meal?
I understand. I understand. We shall walk as friends, as equals, even though you are, of course, my greater.
And
Fall into step next to you, trying not to laugh.
do you want to move to doing that ritual, Patrick?
Sure.
Okay. So do you have a particular ritual that your clan knows that you think could be appropriate for this? Or are we going to do that impromptu?
No, I have the strength of the mayor, and I have an earth ritual, so like I could try and force his river into a new shape or out of his way, but I don't think that would make it happier.
No. So you won't be rolling with advantage, but you will be rolling without disadvantage.
It's just a flat roll, no
This is
stats.
a lore roll.
Oh, lore roll. Ooh.
Yeah. And you're trying to get it to raise up this thing from the depths.
Yeah, I want to be able to talk to this river and possibly give Kazuko something to talk to.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Roll. That is an 8 + 1 is 9.
That is a 9.
This is enact.
Enact a ritual, yes. So essentially, the end goal, I believe, is to raise these things up, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Then I think that you will raise up and you will see 2 suits of armor rise. And you will see a ceremonial armor of the crane, and you'll see a ceremonial armor of the unicorn. And the current sweeps it away downriver. That's the bane I'm giving on this, as it roils into crane lands.
And I think Hikaru, like, he will struggle to hide the like pain and sort of panic of seeing that ceremonial unicorn armor sweeping away. But he'll sort of cough and say, "Well, I think you'll find things might be more friendly around here. I know I've eaten something that's gotten stuck up in my insides before. It doesn't make anyone happy."
So, Shiba Kazuko, you may erase the need attunement, which will allow you to not have to roll the fall into crisis move. Let's come to Doji Satsume and Hiromu Raiko. We just zoomed in on a couple people. So when we zoom out, you two both get advantage on any clan move that uses your character.
Nice.
So Doji Satsumi, how are you dealing with this problem?
Oh, I am so angry at the people who went and did this, and we have taken the crew that was captured of them, and I have I have found a dungeon for them that they can be holed up in, but we're keeping them alive for now. And I think we see me somewhere and just the wheels turning to try and come up with something. But the important thing is first to make sure that Mantis does not believe we were intentionally searching for that boy, because if they do, they will be very angry.
Let us have you roll subterfuge.
Yes, and I get advantage because of the zooming out.
Yes, because you are involved in trying to conceal this debacle.
Yes. Okay. So that's my good one. So I'll be rolling.
There's almost no
plus
chance you
one.
could fail.
Hush, you! Darn you! Oh, let me create a 3-die roll real quick.
Good call.
All right, come on.
Look at you.
All right,
That's
so
still just a 9, but you've got a
no,
bonus.
it'll give me a 10. I have a +1.
Okay. So on a 10 plus, you can hide that. Do they know that the ship was taken, but they don't know you were involved, or or do they not even know?
I don't know if Mantis knows yet. My guess is the pirates. I probably can't.
They know
hide
that, yeah. They know that they lost a
ships.
ship, that it was clearly attacked. The seas were good, but they don't know who took the ship.
With the 10, did I by chance recover the boy's body? I don't know if that would have come off the subterfuge or not. It's really the question of, is he gone or did we get the body when?
Oh, I was a GM hard move, and I'm going to be a hard ass. The body is
His
gone.
body's gone.
Yeah.
Darn it. All right.
But the nice thing is the 10 means you don't have any cost on the subterfuge.
All right.
Haruma Raiko, I'll come to you. You're muted.
Okay.
You will probably hear through the grapevine that the pirates are nervous that they did lose a ship, and they're uncertain how. That they're a little bit unnerved and like lost someone important.
Slight doesn't help on any of that, does it? Already got influence. Let's see here.
And don't forget, you can, if you have influence over them, you can spend that to gain advantage on a move that targets them, take a surplus from them, get them to back you up, fall into indecision. For example, if you want to spend your influence, you could do that to gain those recruits.
All right. I mean, that seems a reasonable and relatively painless way to do that.
Tell me what that looks like. How is it that you turn the influence that you've gained on them into this surplus?
I assume that they have been dealing with the Yusuke and that whole thing of having that bay with the greater protections, and then leaving where they are now for watching and scanning is appealing to them because they don't know who's attacked them. And that was a major ship and they haven't heard anything. The other pirates in the area don't have the firepower. So right now they have no idea who their friends are or who their enemies are. So I think just that fallback, and it's the recruits. And here's the thing is, the first thing in order to assist them, we have to get, docks and everything built that can handle those ships. So, I mean, you get a few of the engineers down there to train them to work with the Caillou, get stuff done. And what they've already got, taste of a great clan. I don't know, might work.
Yeah, okay.
Little extra sucky.
And you may erase the need recruits
Okay.
And we will note that the
You
Mantis
don't have to make a
Pirates-
roll?
No, that's just
Oh.
NPC
Okay.
clans don't resist those things.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
And that, while it sort of splits the pirates now.
Okay.
We've got some of the more active pirates, the ones who are more angry and out there, but some of the, a few weeks later, some of them are settling in, and so we've got that kind of split situation there. Let's take a break, and then we'll figure out where we want to start for this next round and figure out what the next step should be. Does that sound okay? Okay, so we'll take 5.
I realized.
So we've got some things on the table there. I feel like we haven't gotten as much out of Shinjo Hikaru, what Patrick wants to do. So let's start with that, clan wise, and then we'll see where we want to go from there.
Yeah. So, sorry, my computer's speaking. So just for story purposes, like before we get into any sort of zooming in and seeing what Hikaru's trying to do with trying to like change the heart of / befriend a scorpion, I want to make sure things are really nasty between us at a house level.
Absolutely. Let's start that house level mess with.
So I think what I want to do here, because it sort of ties in with some of my moves, is to like subterfuge at a house level to take this new I guess maybe I don't have to. Sorry, maybe I was thinking of a different one where there was a subterfuge move of like make something look more desirable.
I've rewritten that as mask the true nature of something, meaning you could make it more or less desirable however you want to do that.
I gotcha. Okay. So yeah, something to like with this new trading pass opened up and the sort of horse market there, I want to make the Naganori clan look super valuable, really desirable, on this hope that the scorpions will sort of follow their instincts of, well, of course, if this place is valuable but run by this crappy sub-clan, they're going to come in and try and take it all over, possibly aggressively, and then I can swoop in and save them at the last moment.
So yeah, let's have you roll with sleight.
All right. And while I'm sort of playing the Naganori, I'm not overly concerned about hiding things from the scorpion in general. We don't honestly believe that we can out-sneaky the scorpion on a large scale. So we're not trying to hide involvement or anything.
Absolutely.
That's sleight. Let's see. I am okay at sleight. Oh, Lord, that's 11.
That is an 11. So not only do you do that, but you do it quickly, and you don't raise additional chaos. So the Bayushi Daimyo will note the movements there at the fringes where these upstart minor clans or upstart vassal clans are getting bigger than they ought to be, and we'll dispatch some people from the Yogo family that they essentially are vassals of to go and interfere there. And that would be the thing is there's a huge amount of tension and so on. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you advantage on the next move that you do targeting the Naganori. Does that sound like a good way to roll that out?
Nice. I like it.
Okay. Then do we want to check in with the crane, with the phoenix, with the crab? Who feels like, oh, I really want to move next in the sequence of things here? Hearing no one,
I could certainly
with
go.
Tyler. They're okay. So you will hear that there's been some changes among the pirates, that maybe they've lost some of their people.
All right. Well, that's good as well. I'm going to personally go through whoever we captured from that ship to find whoever the highest ranking that's left, and to have looked through the ship if we captured it, to see anything personal I can have found from the from the Mantis family member.
Oh, absolutely. You probably get the second in command who survived. And yeah, you can find the son's personal effects down in the cabin.
All right. Then I am setting sail to go to see the Mantis Daimyo,
Okay.
taking the second in command and the personal items.
Interesting. So, do we need to zoom in on this? Do you want to?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
All right.
Now, I want to ask before we zoom in, I'm going to be offering the Daimyo's daughter the office of Admiral of the Seas for that area. Should I roll that beforehand, or should I wait until we see if we come to common ground that she'll accept it?
I think we better wait until we see there.
Okay.
Do we want to do like we haven't done quick characters? Do you think this is a thing we want to zoom in that far in on?
I was really imagining it just a meeting between me and the Daimyo, honestly.
Okay, then let's do it that way,
Okay.
and we'll give the other players fleeting advantage when we pop back up.
Excellent.
So you will sail into the. I'm trying to remember what the name of the Mantis. I think here capital is. If I can find that here.
And I did spend my one surplus to give myself courtier's robes, or robes, which will start with the meditative, and I get an automatic add-on, which I will do briefly.
That makes sense to me. Let me see if I can find a name. Let's see. Well, I can't find a name, but you'll arrive at the Mantis capital. It is a rough port, even it being of the Mantis clan. Here, it is predominantly marked with the Mon, the symbol of the Mantis here, but you will also see the crests of some of the other families that have joined into Yoritomo's alliance, the Fox, the Wasp, the Saruchi. There are several of them that joined together there.
The badger, the tortoise, my favorite. How about
They are not in that one. But you will, of course, you're respected as a Crane and envoy, but you definitely there's a deep hostility here to the Crane clan, as they have traditionally been the ones been outspoken in their the island of Spice and Silk, but I don't know what the capital city's name is there. And you will be watched and brought in. The other thing that will strike you is even amongst their buje, their samurai class, they don't have that same level of formality. That's been a classic thing of them. A lot of them are not wearing, the traditional weapons. This is one of the issues that has been taken because the Crane very much believe in keeping those structures and strictures in place to keep people in place. And the Mantis have not done that. They have a different set of things. The other thing is that their captaincy on their ships is merit-based. And eventually you will be brought in to see our Mantis Daimyo Yoritomo Kado, who will greet you. Doji Setsume-san, please.
Thank you, Great Daimyo. I appreciate your welcome. I come in friendship from my own Daimo and from all of the Crane clan.
It's interesting. The only Crane representatives who have come to us before have been those bringing demands or those asking for trade.
A
So,
terrible, terrible oversight that I hope to correct today.
what is it that you wish?
Great Daimo, I do come with some sad tidings. A pirate ship was near our coast and ran afoul of one of our coast vessels. I don't wish to speak words that would not only bring you pain, but, well, perhaps bring a shadow to this great house. But your nephew was amongst those who died. I have returned his personal effects. The crew that was on the ship is within our dungeons, though I have brought the remaining ranking member. I'm sure that your nephew was a captive, though that is not what these pirates are saying. Liars and scurvies all.
We appreciate your taking the time to make this trip and to give us this gesture of honor.
Not only that, great Daimo, the prowess, the strength, the nobility of your daughter has also come to the attention of not only Crane, but I'm sure the Emperor. And so I come so that these sorts of things will not happen in the future. Pirates will not prey upon noble houses' sons, and offer that she will be the new admiral of the southern seas to keep peace and make sure trade is open and fair. A noble office worthy of a noble house.
Let's have you roll Find Common Ground.
May I ask, is my secret that I'm subtly putting out there of, I know your nephew was a pirate, and I've got folks who will say that in a dungeon, but I'm here telling you, oh no, I could keep that
I think
hidden.
that's fair fair to call for advantage on that roll.
Okay. Well, I get advantage on that roll, yes. Yay! And I get advantage with the common ground because of my inheritance.
Oh, that's right.
But since I have a secret, his first ask must be to keep the secret.
That's right. Thank you.
Yes. So, I roll advantage with my cunning. Come on, baby. That's a 9 plus 2 is 11.
Say, you may speak to my daughter. I appreciate your discretion in this matter. I will have my Caro take into custody the second in command, and we will ascertain the truth of the situation.
I would ask, Great Dino, shall I send the private crew here for you to deal with, or shall they reach the chopping block within Doji?
Send them here.
Very good.
And I will call for my daughter, and you may ask her. He says in a way that says, I can't control her. You're going to have to put this to her.
Excellent.
And he will send, and it is perhaps a little bit longer than is seemly before she arrives. And you certainly have the sense that some people stopped her and made sure that she was, dressed properly for this. it looks like someone has done her hair up, and so on. She is missing an eye. She'll never be, the great courtly beauty, but she comes and she sees. Oh, she's in the thing.
She's a badass.
Yeah.
Ooh, cool.
And she sits down. She looks like she's trying to keep her temper in check. And
Sumi has a great love of strong women, as as we may already know.
Akado will say, Michael, this is a representative of the Crane clan who speaks on behalf of the Emperor, who has been sent to speak with you on a matter of some importance. You will give him your attention. And how do you frame this?
Great lady, I know that you may have some distrust. It is unfortunate that up until now, things have not been as open and friendly between our great clans. But that should change. And the future between Crane and Mantis, and, well, Mantis and all of the Empire, is bright and expansive. And you, my lady, your name is spoken of like the legends of old. Your strength on the sea, your seamanship is, well, truly a thing of marvel. And there is no one that would be better suited to making sure the Southern Sea is safe for everyone. We would be in your debt. You would take on the mantle of the Admiral of the Southern Seas, to command, to defend, and to show the colors not only of Mantis, but of the Empire, as a great clan deserves to do.
Now let's have you roll sleight.
All right. This is for the office?
Gift of office.
All right. Okie dokie. So I have a +1, and I got an 11.
Ooh, lucky.
She says, and I would have command over the Imperial ships and those committed to it.
Well, the Emperor, of course, has command of his own ships, but any ship that was dispatched here, you would be the ranking officer.
And if a Crane clan ship was sent to be part of the Armada?
You would be the Admiral, my lady.
What are your 2 picks, Tyler, off
I
Gift
take
of Office?
Influence on that person's clan.
Take influence on the Mantis.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to take an NPC as an asset. Can I take her as an asset, or is she just...
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is the thing, is she's for the Mantis because she's hungry and ambitious. Like that is the thing, you know. And the second that she realizes that the pirate thing is not going to serve her ends, you can see her turn on a dime.
If that's her hunger, my tray is full.
Absolutely. You can see that she takes that hook, line, and sinker. And she bows, graciously to thank you for the offer, and says, I will have no hesitation in accepting this office.
Very good. And Lord Daimo, a festival to show the greatness of the fleets of the South will be at Doji here within a few months. We do hope that you will come and be a part of it.
I thank you for the offer, yes.
and I will smile all the way back to the boat.
Absolutely. Let's come to our Phoenix Clan representative. You've gotten these spirits aligned. You've cured some of the what ails you. Are you delivering these recruits?
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and deliver the recruits.
Okay. So let me look at. I've forgotten how this works. When you deliver a arbiter, one of the surpluses they need, we give the project one favor, or one progress rather. So I'll mark that on there, and you get +1 favor with the great and mighty emperor.
All right, so I'm at +2 now.
Yes. While you are weak and in pain, you are beloved of the emperor. So what is the next thing that you or your clan wish to do?
Well, we're actually going to petition that the Lion Clan get favor in the first bridge to be built, based on their years of service and having been special friends to the Emperor, as well as to the Phoenix Clan.
Interesting. Well, let's have you roll favor.
It's now +2, so change the die roll. Nine.
On a 9, the emperor will agree that what you say is right and proper, and he will lean on the dragon to also commit themselves in that way to make it clear that the majority lean that way, and he will thank you for that. So I don't think there's any big strings on it, but you don't get necessarily a loan to surplus as a result.
No, and we'll just send messengers off to say that a favor has been repaid.
And let's look. I want to check something here on our clan influence move. So I don't think you taught others a new way of gaming strength and economy, so you don't get influence that way. But I think you're in the Lion are going to regard you warmly. I think you have set yourself up pretty well on that, and you certainly hear news that there have been some changes in the court, that the Crane have been able to establish a new force against the Southern pirates, and surprisingly have brought the Mantis on board. Let's come to Haruma Raiko. You're muted.
I think that I would like to see if I can bring the engineers, or essentially, see, I'm unclear here. Where is it, the bridge that's being built in that section that was picked going to be the Lion Bridge? There in the middle of Scorpion territory, or I'm kind of unclear here. So
Yes,
what's going on?
it is going to be.
Okay, so I think this is the
That is
most
the first
delightful
bridge,
story
okay,
that I could tell the Caillou. Okay, and I think that I go back and I say, we need a plan. We need logistics. Essentially, that we would suggest to the Emperor, and essentially, it's me turning to those people and saying, this is what they have asked of us. And this is the joyful opportunity that we have to build a strong Caillou bridge of glory and and it's a lion bridge in the middle of Scorpion Lands.
So you're going to commit your engineers to that? So
Yes.
remove them as a surplus?
All right.
And because your mood is a +2, you don't need to roll logistics.
I wouldn't usually anyway. Disperse doesn't cause it. Well, I guess because I would be moving them, so I wouldn't anyway, because we don't have problems with that. So yeah.
And we will put another tick on the progress for the project.
Okay.
And you will gain +1 favor.
All right. We go to, they don't particularly look down at us.
Absolutely. And that is that you are in a good position there. So I imagine that then we see we talked about this being the first bridges that are being set up, the Lion one, and then a couple of the others. And of course, we talked about that there are some plans that are laid in place with these bridges.
Yes, exactly. That essentially, and the thing is that of course we would take the plans to the emperor before they're built. But the thing that I'm thinking of is that the sort of, in some ways, the theme of the bridge construction and engineering is together opposed, because essentially it would be built so that the very nature of the bridge, all parts of it work with each other to resist the river. Like when they push against each other, other pieces are easing or pushing as well to like sort of maintain integrity of the bridge. So it will last for a very long time. And it is built that way with a sort of very much an engineer's thing. It's not big, long pieces that are put this way, but many pieces that are driven down.
Absolutely. The Lion are pleased. Their bridge is to be the first. And this project is moving forward. But it will get 2 ticks on the project clock, which means that we are getting the first of these 7 bridges built, and probably on to the second, even third one is being constructed there.
Yes.
Let us come to our unicorn clan. How do you plan to capitalize on what you have done?
So I think this is a good time to have it all sort of come to a head. As the Scorpion are moving in, I would like to move in to back up the Naganori here, as a base to help them keep their trade route and their market that they've worked so hard to set up in their hands, and at worst there to protect them if violence breaks out. I have a couple of things I'm leaning into. I have influence on the Naganori, so as I move in, I would spend it to try and get them to back me up.
Okay.
I also have my alliance move, which is when you arrive in time to save a group from terrible danger. Is it terrible danger? I don't know. You gain influence over them, so there's a possibility I could gain it back. And communal solidarity, when you comfort a group suffering misfortune, go with move their favor a step towards mine, which my favor is -1, so I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, that's not great for them, but we don't track favor for the NPCs. But I think that you have advantage on claim by force, and if you succeed, then you will maintain your influence over the Naganori.
Nice. I could definitely use the advantage because this is grasp, isn't it?
I believe that this is grasp, yes.
It's grasp, yes, and I am a -1 on grasp. Oh God! So the best 2 were a 2 and a 3, which is 5 minus 1 is 4.
Ooh. Oh, Patrick. If someone aids, what happens? Does he get to re-roll, or is it just a +1?
let's see the clan move thing. He's already got advantage, so you can't boost that, unfortunately.
All right. Ouch.
So when this happens, then there's the pushback from the scorpions. By the way, I'm going to click another box into turmoil here.
What for?
When you arrive, there are no more Naganori.
Oh. What happened?
You will find no Naganori in their houses, no Naganori in their palaces. There's no one there. There are perhaps places where you find blood spots, but no sign of active violence.
Certainly not enough blood for an entire clan to be gone.
No, but definitely the look and what your magistrates that examine the scene will say, it looks like some portion of the people that were here were loyal to the service of the Scorpion, and between them and whoever arrived, whether it was Yogo mages or Shishiro Sado dancers, it's not clear, but they took all of them. I mean, there's still peasants and all of those kinds of things, but there are the sort of the elite, the samurai class of this place is gone. I will say that a handful of them are at your trading post that have survived, but not enough to make a claim.
Well, that didn't go well.
I'll point out that the Naganori are technically Scorpion.
Yeah.
That's just pointing that out to you.
So did he change the hearts?
Well, I'll have to see about that. But we'll come back to that. Essentially, you have some Naganori there as potential NPCs.
Oh, I got you.
That's what I'm saying. If you need to use them, but it is shocking.
Yeah, that's okay. That got complicated.
Let's come to who I think we circle around. I think we'll go back to Doji Setsume, right?
Did Shiba go?
Shiba delivered goods to the emperor and gained that favor, and then petitioned for the Lion Bridge.
Okay. Then I am going to take my influence from the Mantis and immediately use it to get trade, which I have to think is something they can have.
Mm-hmm.
But rather than replacing my need, I'm going to shift it immediately into completing the project.
Okay. So this is logistics because your mood is a -1, right?
Okay.
So let's suspend your influence, and then let's look at that clan move. I think that the delivery is going to stall because I think you need to go and get approval from the crab to get that delivered to the site. Because it's trade goods and it's coming through Yasuki.
Okay.
They have a significant grasp of the minutia of the trade laws.
Excellent. Okay, so at the moment, the trade surplus itself is just sort of floating.
Yeah, we mentioned that the Mantis are handing over the trade goods, hold on your influence. but you have to go and talk to the crab. So how do you want to do that?
I want to do something I've been hoping to do all this time, though it may fail. I come home to Doji, and I'm in my quarters, which are really nice.
Oh, yeah.
And I have in front of me this beautiful mirror that has crane and flowers all along the frame. As I begin attempting my house ritual, I am trying to contact Raiko.
Interesting. So this is a house ritual for you.
It
You are
is?
not a Shugenja.
I am not.
So we're going to look at the rituals. So you're not a Shugenja. So you roll with disadvantage.
It's my house. I thought it was even up.
Yeah, but now here's the thing. So it is known to you, so you can choose a benefit. You can take the 7 to 9 result without rolling. You can roll the ritual with advantage, or you can choose to roll it with disadvantage and not suffer a bane if you make a hit.
7 to 9 look like. I pick 1. So if I get a 7 to 9, you're gonna get a bane, right?
Yes.
Yes.
But you don't have to roll. There's no chance of a miss.
I know, and that's
Alternately, you
Or I
could
could have
roll with
advantage.
disadvantage and ignore the bane, or you could roll with
even up.
roll even up.
And if I got a 10, I get to pick 2 things. The best I do for the bane thing, though, is just limit what you do. I think I'm gonna take that 7 to 9.
Okay.
The magic does exactly what you desire, no more, no less.
I think that the land is going to demand a sacrifice from you, and I think we can see this even as we see you doing the ritual. I'm going to have you describe that in a second, but I think we can see like one of your white hairs, the dark white hair, turn kind of a dark gray.
Oh, and I'm having to stare at it in the mirror. Oh, God.
Yes. So, Haruma Raiko, when you are contacted, where are you?
I'm out by the bridge where they're putting the first experimental pilings down there. This is my project, so I'm out there. So I'm in, what do you say, an engineer's tent, except I've got my own, so it's smaller, but at least I've got my girly things around. The kind of find this hilarious. So. What do we see on screen when this magic happens?
As I'm standing in front of my big mirror there, I think that as the ritual comes up, I move and put my hands to touch my own in the mirror, and suddenly, because I could send a vision as well as communicate, I think you see, whether it's just you that could see it, I don't know, it's my ritual, I suppose. I think it's probably just you. I think these are private conversations. But it is as though I kind of just step out of nothing there before you. Raiko, it is so good to see you.
And I think she was probably eating some rice, and she goes, oh, okay. And sets that down. She's like,
I hope I have not disturbed you.
Oh, no. But surprise me, yes. I will admit. What's something wrong?
Quite the opposite. Things have gone well. I have solved my little problem with the pirates, and Mantis has risen, and I would say in the Emperor's estimation and in their own glory.
Excellent. They will be fine allies.
I had heard that the pirate forces had internal division even before I reached the halls of Mantis.
Some were less inclined to deal with, what do you say, threats they could not see. Those cut themselves off early.
How are you? Where do I find you?
I'm at the bridge site. We're the preliminary bridge site. We're laying the pilings for the Lion Bridge.
Lion first, very politic.
It is. So, and it's hilariously in the middle of Scorpion Land, so I can't imagine a more fabulous. It is a testimony to the Emperor in that, what do you say? All of us together and yet still opposed.
The excitement looks good on you. You are like a flower in bloom in that garden.
Come here all this way just to give me compliments.
I would travel 1,000 miles more to do that.
And she looks up and she goes, I don't want you to risk yourself for that. How can I help you?
Well, I will say that I'm trying to send some of the things that are needed to help with your project, with our Lord Emperor's project. They seem to be held up in the port. Some very, let's say, snippy crabs, bureaucrats.
Well, crab are always very good at the one thing they're very good at. Do you have a name?
Of the bureaucrat in particular?
Yes.
Blah.
She goes, I know them. I will send along a gift and a letter. We'll see what we can do.
Thank you. I really do appreciate it. And there's going to be a festival here at Doshi. I know you're busy, but we're celebrating ships, the open trade, a chance for Mantis to come in and, well, look as magnificent as they can. And I would love if you could come.
I will cast about for some reason to be there.
Then I will make sure to save you a cabin upon my ship.
And Haruma Raiko, do you take those steps to allow those goods to be delivered, or do you continue to have them blocked? No, she's thinking about it. I love it.
I think what it is she sends a message immediately and she says, you have successfully riled the crane, congratulations. And I give my due, and I only ask that they take care of it within the next week and a half or so.
Yusuke Toki will write back, and we'll thank you for your attention, and we'll make sure that gets delivered. And my Crane Clan fan, you may raise your favor by 1.
Woohoo!
And we'll put another tick of progress on that.
And if I could jump in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I sensed a disturbance in the force.
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
I would like to look into who may have been using the ritual here in the Great Lands.
Then let's have you roll Unearth Forgotten Lore with advantage.
With advantage. So is there a way to do advantage here? I just got to make 2 rolls.
Just 3 dice.
Just say 3d6.
Yeah. So it's a 7.
It's a 7, even with your lore bonus?
Yeah, because I was 0 on lore. I'm a more
right.
cunning character right now. But 7 is still not bad.
So what question do you want to know?
How can I draw on this for power?
I think that you will feel this ritual. And what ritual is this, Tyler? It's a known one, right?
Yes, this is our house ritual, and it is that it's your air one. I'm popping it over real quick. Echoes on the breeze.
And I think you will, you have a connection to the two people involved with this, and you will feel that. And I think that you will realize that you understand some of the principles of this. And maybe if you went to study, you might be able to learn this ritual for your own house, given your insight into this.
Okay, excellent.
Does that sound reasonable?
I like that.
Okay. Let's do Haruma, and then let's come back to Shiba. Haruma Raiko, what's your next step? The project is 3/5 the way to completion.
So they need more resources, and what kind are those?
Right now, the resources that are required for this are metals, artisans, recruits, lumber, order, transport.
Order we have.
Do you wish to
Call upon them?
get you a second? It would increase the project. It would take your favor up to +1. The higher your favor, the better result you're going to get when all is said and done with this project.
I will do that.
What does that look like?
I think it looks like me going to my daimyo's sister, who is of the House Caillou, and speaking about the bridge and about Emperor Toturi, and saying to her, is the favor of the Emperor worth using our best leaders to assist in this project? I don't ask for it. I ask her if she believes it is worth the trouble.
I think you know the buttons to push on that, and she will dispatch essentially managers and magistrates and so on. You have an overabundance of that. That's a surplus to go and work on this project. So go ahead and remove that surplus and raise your favor by +1. Let us come back to the Phoenix. What do you wish to do?
I wish to Tyler, you said you're back at your
I'm back at Doji.
Capital. Yeah.
I would like to send word to Satsume of that Kazuko has made a finding of potential interest to Satsume. I would like to arrange audience.
So
somewhere discreet.
Are you saying like
this? And there's no warning or anything. This is like a friendly letter. Like, hey, would like to talk kind of thing.
Are
There's
you
there's no overtones in this. You
right?
wouldn't.
Are you implying like I'm coming to Doji? Can you set up somewhere we meet, or is it more of I have somewhere up north, wherever you are, want to
Yeah,
come visit?
coming to Doji's fine. Just not meeting in the in the grounds official kind of thing.
Absolutely. Then I will
And it's
quickly
written in
write
the
on
kind
the
of
list.
personal hand so that it wouldn't have any of the feel of a threat or anything like that. It
And
literally is like a letter from a friend.
then you would receive a warm, friendly letter back.
Yeah.
I trust you with my life because you've saved it before. We are friends. I would send back, oh, I would be extremely happy to see you. I know of a tea house that I have purchased some time ago where we could have a quiet chat. Please meet me at blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and I'll definitely travel there, on the specified date. Excuse me.
So we take up days, maybe even weeks
Yeah.
later when the time matches up in this beautiful tea house, discreet. The owner, you know, uh, knows the doji. This is a place quiet. You're moved into a back room, well appointed. Beautiful tea is served, and the two of you can meet out of sight of others.
It is so good to see you. Please come in.
It is wonderful. How have your projects been going of late? I've been busy with the bridges and
Things
out of
have actually
touch.
gone well. The pirates should not be a problem much longer, and Mantis has risen, I think. How is the bridges? How are things going? I've tried to arrange for some assistance in that, but things have kept me to the east.
Things were going well as I left. The project seems to be on target. It was a lovely design. I was able to see the design. I'm no engineer, but it dazzled me to look upon the drawings of such brilliant engineers.
I hear that Lion is gifted with the first bridge.
Yes, they petitioned through us actually for some assistance. They were more than helpful at allowing us to get some assistance to the emperor. And it's been a rough few years, but we
should
wanted
have seen
to.
your deft hand. You
Yes,
are a clever young lady.
it is. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do have. Well, I came across something of interest to you.
To me,
It is a suit of armor.
what armor?
I believe crane armor.
Do you have it? Are you showing it, or are you just still talking? Okay.
I'm not talking. No, I'm not showing it.
Well, something lost in the war, something held by your family.
I believe lost in the war. It was beneath the river.
But
It
you have
made
found
the spirits
armor.
angry. I believe.
Sheba, you
No
can't
one
be
knows of this but
telling
you
me.
and I.
You have found the Diamond's armor.
I have.
By all the gods and coming, you have found the armor.
Indeed, I have. And I would humbly give it to you for but a small price, which would raise my standing in my clan. As you know, as a younger member of the clan, I struggle against my older siblings even. But to come to them with a new ritual would raise me. And of course, I have no need of the armor. I want it back in its rightful place. And if it can be put back in its rightful place by a friend, even more the better.
Well, I personally am. I am certainly no Shuginshin. I know little of the magics, but whatever I would have, I would certainly give to, and more.
But this is all the payment and your friendship that I would ever ask. It's just time with your Shugenja to study. Your clan has a knack for talking with people from afar that is revered by those who are aware of it and feared by those who aren't.
To the hero who brings back the armor, all would be given. And not only that, I promise you, you wish to be seen higher elevated, my family will give. We shall make a statue of ivory and gold of you.
I knew I came to a friend when I found this. I knew I should bring it to you.
And I was hoping to say that I had squared the slate between us, and then you come and put me so deeply in your debt, I doubt I'll ever repay you.
It is an honor to be your friend, to do this favor for you, knowing that we shall always be united.
And we shall. And there is a festival we're having here at Doji. Please come, you will be a most honored guest.
I would love that. I've not seen the festivals here.
And then an appropriate gift will be given to you to show our true gratitude.
And that feels like seeing to me. How about you, Tyler?
Yeah. And I'm going to do my big once per age. I am giving the amazing good there. Pull over. I'm giving you either morale or luxury. You have a need of morale.
I think morale is what we're in need of.
Then I'll give you morale, as they make a statue of ivory and gold. Beauty for all the world to see. Once per age, you may present another house with a beautiful work of craftsmanship. When you do, give them surplus morale or surplus luxury. Now, I do get influence, but who wouldn't?
Yeah. And I will cross off that.
Yeah.
Makes the overall morale a little bit better, the mood.
and we'll come back and resolve that ritual thing. I want to move on to the unicorn next. In the wake of this tragedy, Shinjo Hikaru, and you will hear that the project is almost complete.
I don't know. I'm not sure what the family would think, but I think Hikaru would be caught up in this. Like we had worked things more elaborately than maybe we needed to in order to set up a trap for the scorpions, and that's left him feeling responsible for these people that he made promises to, and they made promises of loyalty back. I think he would like lead an expedition to go try and track down the what happened to the Naginori.
That you'd into the Scorpion Lands. You're going to send your forces into the Scorpion Lands. I just want to make sure that's what you're saying to me.
Some forces.
You are risking
forces. But
you are risking war with the Scorpion, is what you're telling me.
I am trying to save
a friend before you do this, please.
I am trying to save a clan that has been betrayed by a vassal clan that's been betrayed by their liege lords.
Well, you can't save them; they're dead. But what do you want to do? Do you want to read the wind? Does that seem like the good way to do this?
Sure. Yeah, that's 5.
That is a 5. What is the trap that you fall into? Is it that you lead people over into the Scorpion Lands?
Yeah, I think they've set up this like trail for me to follow of where the Naganori had been taken off to, and this like remote keep that they were being held in, and it ends up being nothing except like a political / military scandal that the Scorpion managed to catch me in, probably with some other witnesses there.
And I need to check something here on this. You will create a scandal. You are caught out. You are trapped. Scorpion don't kill your people, but they make a great scene of it. They create a great a tumult, and they come to the emperor and they say, the law has been broken, that they have come in and attacked. The emperor will listen to this and will, not wanting to put either side out, will demand a payment as recompense from the unicorn to the scorpion, and you will gain need Koku. And you personally will see Bayushi Suru there, tapping his fan during the whole line of process of this. And
I think like throughout the whole thing, obviously Shinjo Miho is there as like the family and clan leader to speak for things, but Hikaru is in the background, and it doesn't matter how much no evidence they have, and it doesn't matter how many times she turns around and tries to shush him. Like, he keeps demanding that the Scorpions did these terrible things, and that they're lying, and that there's trickery, to the point where he might have to be dragged out so that they can finish in, civilized, courtly fashion.
Nate, give me the name of one of the Naginori that you know that has survived. Like, let's say there are 3 of them that stayed in the Unicorn Lands, like the last 3 of the Naginori.
Let's see. Rico. R-I-K-O.
Can you put that in the chat? Okay. Is that a male, female?
She.
Yeah. A messenger at the end of this will come with a box for you.
What's in the box?
And it says, Master Hikaru, the Scorpion Clan delegation asked me to bring this to you. And it's a big, long box, and asked if you would hand this off to Naganori Riko.
We'll check it before, taking it directly to her.
Oh yeah, it's very clearly her father's sword. It is bloodied. It has not been cleaned.
Mm.
Inside the lid, when you lift it up, it has the Mon of the Scorpion Clan and the symbol for loyalty.
I think Hikar will take it to Rico, and he will present it like very somberly and go down on a knee and swear that, you know, I will not forgive this. I will not forget it. I will not rest until the Scorpion are made to pay for what they've done to your family.
Please roll Find Common Ground.
Oh. Oh, that's it. That's curses. That works the other way. Okay. It's cunning. I have some cunning. Jesus. It's a 5 + 1 is 6.
She says, "It is your fault that my family is dead." And she slams the lid down. She clutches it to her. And she walks away.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh my God. Patrick, I'm so sad for you.
Oh my God. I mean, just my heart is killing me.
Give the unicorn a break, dice.
I'm gonna stop rolling dice for a while, guys.
Okay. Let's come back to Doji Satsume. Do you want to give that big party?
I think so, yes. The Festival of Boats.
And that is a clan move for you, right?
That is correct.
So we'll assume that everyone of your fellow PCs is invited.
Mm-hmm.
It probably takes place not long after this accommodation of the unicorn in the Emperor's court. So tell me what this festival is attempting to do.
The idea is that a big part of it is showing Mantis and Crane working together to bring prosperity to the Southern Sea, trade, and it's also to show that we're all better off trading with each other goods rather than ill words.
Well, how many surpluses do you have nearby?
I have one.
Then go ahead and roll with nearby surplus. Now, before you do that, do you want to get assistance on this?
I would like to get some assistance.
Who do you want to ask to help you with this?
And it's someone I have influence over, correct?
So it's lend aid, actions of a clan you have influence over.
All right, and I'll erase it, correct?
Yep.
Yes. I would ask first.
It would be someone who has influence over you, I think.
Oh, is it?
When you involve yourself in the actions of a clan you have influence over, yeah. So it's somebody who.
Oh, it would be them. I asked them, and is that right?
When you involve yourself in the actions of a clan that you have influence over.
Right, but they're going to be the ones involving themselves.
Oh, so the crab could do it because they could get a bunch of Yasuki people in there in this whole free trade, and isn't it good for the empire thing?
Right.
Yeah.
It's
sure.
me opening up and someone who has influence on me doing it, right?
Influence of a clan. So you involve yourself in. Do you have influence over Sherry? Over
No, so Sherry would be the one activating the lend aid.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so who is it who is it that you're kind of calling in to assist? Who is going to do that?
Yeah, I'm asking if the crab will help.
Okay. Will you
I
do
will.
that?
I will. I know Benny Yasuki who would like to be part of the fabulous open trade of the Empire.
Okay. Do you want Tyler to roll that with advantage or disadvantage?
So hard. Please roll with advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, we all get cool shit if I do well.
So the last die that is rolled in the sequence is considered the die that she gave you for the purposes of checking.
Then I'll roll, last in sequence, so the one on the left.
Yeah, so 1, 2,
Okay.
3, it's a third die.
The one on the
Like
left.
that matters.
I think it always
No, it
sorts
doesn't.
them.
It does not sort them,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah, I checked that.
Okay.
No, so roll the dice and whatever the last of the three that's shown will.
The one on the left. Okay.
Okay.
So,
gave
it
you a 6.
is.
So that's the highest.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so it's
and
one
your
right.
result-
Oh, okay,
Your result is an 8.
is an 8. Yes.
No, he adds a 1 to it.
So a 9.
Oh, because you get a bonus for that?
I have one I had one surplus to spend. Or
Oh, that's
be
right.
there.
That's right. So you get to regain your influence, Sherry.
Okay.
Okay, that's the effect of that. And then the actual move itself that we were bumping away from,
I get to pick one.
yes.
And which move is this?
The grand event, it is a
It's
crane.
a crane clan thing. Okay, got it.
Oh, I feel like I'm going to screw you a little bit here, Scott, but because I just gave you morale, but me and anyone who joins the celebration gains surplus morale.
That's one of the things I have, Lowell. Does that just bounce?
No, you are allowed to, if you have a surplus and someone offers you another
Oh, good.
surplus,
Okay.
you can do that. It has to be an intangible surplus, though. If someone's giving you surplus morale,
So,
then,
Scott, you get that too.
Then how about
there's culture, there's order, there's peace, there's justice. Those are all intangibles that you could gain.
that's interesting. How about justice? Because that's something that the crab doesn't always have.
Okay. What about you, Shiba Kazuko?
It was morale, right?
Yep, but you can change that out for another intangible if you already have surplus morale.
Oh, but you didn't. I just eliminated your need, didn't I?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
eliminated my needs, so I'm good anyway.
So you get.
I don't
so
get
you
it twice,
surplus.
right?
Yeah, you do, because he eliminates
Oh,
your
okay.
need and then boosts it up, so you get positive morale. And then what about you, Shinju Hikaru?
I move as well.
I will gladly take some needed morale.
Okay. And Tyler, you as well.
Yep, I took the surplus morale, and it's a grand event.
So let's take a moment here. Tell me what the key feature of this grand festival, Doja Sasumi, and then I want to come around and ask the others what we see of their part in these festivities.
All right, to kind of pay off what I told the Harbor Master clan, they get to be the ones who take out the big, enormous party yacht that pretty much was just built for this. It could not go out to sea. It's just a big, huge thing here for the harbor. And it is festooned with flowers and is just trailing beautiful music. And in particular, it goes to greet each ship of each clan as they come in. But when the Mantis comes in, we have already arranged to let Mantis know come in just as the sun sets. So as the sun sinks down below the horizon and as it gets dark, the sky is lit as fireworks come up off the ship as Mantis and Crane come together to enter the harbor.
And what about you, Shiba Kazuko? What do we see of you during this grand? We're at the Doji estates. This beautiful ceremony is going on. What do you feel is your role? What do we see of you? Oh yeah, and that's a good point. Is that Tyler made? Is that you are an honored guest as the person who brought back the Crane clan ancestral armor.
I think I'm in information gathering mode for my clan on the other families within Crane.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a good alliance here, but
you're playing your merchant thing to the kind of the hilt and just meeting people and
Yep.
and everyone wants to meet you.
I'm participating in the festival as an honored guest, but
Yeah, absolutely.
making sure that I know some contacts around.
Shinjo Hikaru, what do we see of you? You see Shiba Kazuko getting glory and honor and respect from the Crane for the armor that you dragged out of the river.
Not thrilled about that, especially since it appears she went and tracked it down, but left mine floating in a river somewhere. We might have to talk about that later. But I think, so Tyler, this whole party is out on this giant yacht sort of thing?
It's in the harbor. Each clan would come in. There is also an element of like maybe your clan would come down the river in a boat, but it's the celebration of boats. But it's on the docks and on boats that they have all the party and the food and all that sort of thing. And the river.
Yeah. Hikaru looks incredibly uncomfortable on whatever boat he's on. Like, getting on and off of boats is very much like this. It is obviously going to betray me right now. Like, as soon as you step towards the edge, that's when the whole thing flips over and water snakes come out of nowhere and you get caught up in kelp and dragged down to the bottom. He is Hikaru is wearing something that looks surprisingly appropriate to the situation for anyone in his family. It's very nice embroidered silks. The cut is strange because it's still very much his like riding clothes and a large heavy cloak, which isn't exactly the imperial style. But as you get closer, the pattern woven into the embroidery is all these like rearing and galloping kirin with the like antler unicorn horn that happen to be running over and stomping on and biting through these very beautiful stylized scorpions that are woven through the whole thing as well. So here in the middle of your like family unity festival, he's wearing this "fuck the scorpions" outfit.
And I do think at some point in this, you will see this figure in green and edged with some yellow will approach you, and Miramoto, now Shige, the Emerald Magistrate, will come to have words with you. He will say, Shinjo Hikaru, may we speak for a moment?
Of course. Always have time for the Emerald Magistrate.
Your intentions are understood and noble. But the Empire has laws and processes such that we can actually bring to justice those in the highest positions. If you had come to me, I could have helped you. I hope you will remember that in the future.
The machinations and machinery of this empire work only to support what is already there. No faith in your so-called justice. But as for my intentions, as everyone here, it's a party, isn't it? We're all just here to have a good time. Celebrate unity.
I have tried. I hope you'll remember that in the future. And we'll walk away.
Much.
Haruma Raiko, what do we see of you?
I think that she is, how do you say? When she comes to town, she comes with a group of Yusuki, I don't know, maybe matchmakers is perhaps the best word for it. Yes, Yusuki matchmakers and deal makers and Caillou who are super curious to see the boats and the ships and the port itself, because this is something that they may be working on at some point. And she, especially when she isn't with Doji Satsumi, she is arranging for the Caillou to get a chance to look at how the boats are made, to talk to people who, and essentially they want to go under things and look at it. They want to go into the holds. They want to go up on top. They want to ask about the lumber, so essentially, and the Yusuki can take care of themselves for the most part, but she does sort of make the introductions so they can go on their way and get things worked out. So
I think at some point we definitely have to have a scene after the fireworks, that smell of cordite in the air, and now the party is broken into smaller parties, and the sounds of the shamisen in the distance, and laughter and so on. And we see the four of you as it happens by the railing, though Shinjo Hikaru not close by the railing, of a boat, so that we can have a meeting. And I assume that Doji Satsumi, you have probably arranged this.
Yeah, yes.
How do you open this?
There will be libations and food, and as you come on, and there's probably some other people, but as I see each of you, I will kind of direct you off to where we have a quiet, away from other folks place. And you can, all of you can see how I'm just doting on Shiva. I mean, definitely the girl of the hour is Shiva, having brought this back. Though, Reiko, when you show up, it doesn't take someone super clever to see me sort of flush and smile in your direction. And as I bring us all over, we're served drinks. It is so good to see all of you here. Since the court, things have, gone so well. And to share it with you, my friends.
and I think you see Reiko kind of stop, and then she sort of steps forward and she puts her hands on Shinju Hikaru's shoulders. She looks him in the eye and she goes, "I am so sorry."
For what?
heard what happened.
I must admit I have been so... What has happened? Is everything all right, Kara?
It's fine. All goes well with my clan. Tread rough waters with our neighbors to the south.
Kara, when last we met, you spoke of crushing bugs. I warned you, and I am sorry if you were stung.
It is no matter. It's simply instructive for the future. Speaking of rough waters, do you have to hold this entire party in the middle of a storm or some sort of wave season? What is happening?
I look across at the glassy harbor.
You all kind of stare at a car.
Yes, I'm
It's
sorry.
like a very gentle breeze blows one streamer.
I had hoped for calmer weather, but yes, of course, Garo, it is a shame. Perhaps a bit of sake and food will settle your stomach.
Thank you, Setsu. It is a very nice gathering.
And as I come over and I'll pour a drink for you, I will say quietly, it may not be what my clan would do, but if you ever have need, I have no love of Scorpion.
And you said that up close to him, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate your support.
And yeah, I'll move back and try to be good host as y'all can circulate and talk.
And I think for Kazuko, there's actually a big sense of wonder here. This is the largest festival she's attended outside of, her own clan. And so as much as she's doing her job and her duty within her clan, there's that legitimate sense of wonder and awe of seeing this new amazing once in an age event, and being present for it with her hero, who might be in a foul mood but is still legitimately her hero.
And as the night comes to a close, a ship will come, a truly, compared to my little yacht, a truly great ship. And I'll look to Sheepa. I have so enjoyed your company. I'm afraid that the Daimyo wishes to thank you personally, and as do all of Crane. And a skiff transports you over, and a formal, we've already, once you gave it to us, taken the armor, but we have a formal where you give it back to us. And as you do, fireworks go up from that ship and all the way up the river in sequence to the lake and beyond. Bonfires are lit, lighting up the Crane lands in the name of Shiva Kazuko.
Nice.
And I'll look over at Draco. Are you willing to stay the night?
Couldn't have it any other way.
I think that's a good cutoff point for today's session. We're very close to finishing the Emperor's project. We'll probably be able to do that next time, which will allow us to move forward in age, and then we'll be able to hold court. Does that seem reasonable?
Excellent, yeah.
And we'll carry on from there. So I think we'll stop there, and we can do a quick stars and wishes if you guys don't mind. I'm going to stop the recording.